Hey guys, welcome back to Uncle Fresh Reef, the progression of my 93 Cube Aquarium. And today I got quite a bit of updates for you, and so let's just go ahead and get into it. The first and biggest is the addition of new lighting. And as you remember, I built the stand out of welded metal, and this is 1.5 inch tubular steel, powder coated. And I built the crossbars to add these new SBReef Extreme 16-inch Wi-Fi lights. I got them on the Black Friday sale, and I knew I needed more color spectrum. Certainly didn't have the money for radions, and this was the ticket. Unfortunately, because this is a 30 by 30 by 24 inch deep tank, I can't go with one light. The shadowing was really bad, and it limited the amount of coral I could have with my aquascape. So unfortunately, I had to go with two. So that's why I went with the SBReef light. I did a lot of research. I looked at the coloration that they had, a lot of the testimonials, and I was pretty convinced. I did talk to Mike, the owner. I really liked what he had to say. Sounded like a good guy down in Pensacola, Florida. So I went ahead with it, and so far I like them. I think they do what they're supposed to do. I'll say that the app is not the greatest. It's difficult to use. I have it synced to my phone, and if you had just one light, I think it would work great. Two lights, your phone is not capable of running two Wi-Fi connections simultaneously, so you have to turn one light off and then go ahead and connect to the other light. The other problem is that both lights use the same name, so you never really know what light you're actually connecting to. So in this case, I have SBReef left, SBReef right. So when you go in there and change the programming, like I have quite a bit over the last couple days trying to get the color correct, it's been difficult. So I think it'll work out better as I go. Another issue is once you're connected, these green lights are supposed to go solid. This indicates that it's the Wi-Fi is available. So even when I'm connected, which I'm not right now, it still blinks. So I put a little piece of electrical tape over it because it was driving me crazy at night. So that's another issue. So I'll try to get a hold of Mike and get this resolved. But the lights, for what they do, it's really nice. I really like them. The price is right. It's got 3 channels. It's got the color spectrums. I think that'll really grow the coral. It certainly has the moonlights that make them pop. So, and there's enough people that have used them that convinced me to go ahead and get it. So I'll do another video. This one's probably going to be long because it's just an update, depending on if people really want to see it or not. But I went into Lowe's and I got a 1 inch tubular aluminum tube here and painted it and drilled it out and connected it to the main upright. This was the best way that I could figure out how to get these things connected, and it worked out great. So as it turns out, my original weld was off a 1/2 inch, so it's been bugging me. OCD's kicked in, so I had to drill this out a 1/4 of an inch off center to get the lights to center on a 23 inch bar. So I have 3 inches from the light to the sidewall, 6 inches between the two lights, and another 3 inches over here, and they're perfectly centered over the tank. So I'll get back into it and maybe do another review on the app later. I just don't have enough information right now. I tried to call Mike and get color settings, or excuse me, the intensity settings for my tank, being how I have too much lighting for a 30 by 30 93 gallon cube, and one would be not enough. There just isn't anything out there on the internet or on their support forums with anybody that's used two that I could find and get the ramping schedule. So I did come up with my own ramping schedule, and I can tell you it really looks good. I'm very impressed. It is 7:30 at night, so it is winding down, so it's not as intense. But the candy cane coral over here, the trumpet coral, is absolutely fantastic. The acans, and then the zoas over here. The neon splatter hammer and the frog spawn are coming back. So that's good news. I'm also kind of keeping my eye on this Monty. I'm not sure if it's going to make it or not. So hoping that it will bounce back with the better lights. So that was one of the additions. And while I'm in here, one of the additions of fish is probably going to be making his exit. Unfortunately, the Flame Angel, which after a long process of getting him acclimated and dealing with tank aggression from the tank boss, he is just pecking at corals left and right. Now, I may get some comments about, Flame Angels, that they are known to do that, but I can post probably 10 websites of very successful mixed reef tanks where they have angels and no issues whatsoever. So suffice to say, it's hit or miss, and I have a miss. So this is this one came from Live Aquaria. I think it came from the Solomon Islands, not the Marshall Islands. So it was a little bit more expensive because I thought the colors would be a lot more intense. I don't know that I see the more intense colors. It still has a lot of yellow on it, but right here, the A-cans are definitely not happy. One, the tang takes a lot of sand right there, and as you can see, spits it. So these things stayed covered with sand because of the tang, which was making them angry. And then I thought he was going to do it. Then the angel's been picking at him. So I got to figure out a way to capture him. That's not going to be fun. And get him out of here. So the wife wasn't happy, and but she's going to have to deal with it. So that's a little bit what's going on in the tank. I got a lot of tissue recession here on the candy cane. I don't know exactly why. Well, actually, I think I do know why, but and I'll talk about that in a second. But it's not doing well. The maize coral that I got, it's died. The A-cans aren't happy, but I think that is because of the angel and the tang. I've since moved them up a little bit. The other thing you may notice is that my ice cap gyre 3K is on a pulse mode now instead of constant. So it's giving me a little bit more current. My green star polyps here, the angel was already picking on them. And the zoas seem to be doing okay. I was really happy to see that the frog spawn's bouncing back. So that's really cool. I'm happy about that. So that's a little bit what's going on inside the tank. I did a 25-gallon water change yesterday. It was about 25% of the water volume. It's probably closer to 30 gallons. I'll show you why. I did some maintenance underneath to the fuge. That's not working well. But for right now, let's move along to another update. I'm already 8 minutes into this. Down here, you'll notice that this canister is empty. That is GFO, and I've decided to stop using GFO temporarily because I do think that I'm stripping the water of all the nutrients. My nitrates are 0 and my phosphates were 0, so that could be adding to why my corals are not happy. So right now, because of the fuge issues that I'm having, I did discontinue the use of GFO for right now, which figures because I just bought brand new BRS GFO on sale, so I've got a ton of it. So that's been discontinued. So let's look underneath the aquarium and the sump area. Let me turn on the light here. Okay. Made some modifications down here. I had slime algae growing out of control, so I spent a good hour yesterday completely tearing this down, cleaning it. I got one of the Marine Pure blocks on sale from BRS. Tyler over there gave me this suggestion. I removed the sand off the bottom, and I put a Marine Pure block in there, and then I put a tray of sand so the copepods could have somewhere to dig in and hide, and I get some outstanding beneficial bacteria surface area in the Marine Pure block, so that's going to work out great. I also took apart the Chaeto that I had and there was a lot of dead stuff on it, and I kind of reworked the manifold water output so that I could get some circular motion, like a gyro motion almost in there. And when I put this stuff back in, it was on the bottom, and as the lights came on last night, the oxygen, the growth, must have created some air pockets inside there, and they're back up at the top. But what is working really well now is that my circular water motion is keeping them spinning, so maybe this will work out. Another issue that I'm having, and it'll be a video for another day, that thing down there at the end, my net module is giving me fits. I have since abandoned the hope of using it for now. I did get another router. I flashed the DDWRT operating system to make a router into a bridge. I got it connected and actually got this to work briefly, but all the modules were showing up unknown, so it was pretty much worthless. So I've got multiple hours into this, and I think I'm just going to abandon it, other than possibly ordering a $15 200-foot long Cat 5 cable and running this to my main home router and see if I can monkey around with it. What's another $15 and probably an hour of plumbing it through the wall up and over into the attic and down into my bedroom where that's at, you know. So may go ahead and do that, so we'll keep you posted there. Having some skimmer issues. This is way oversized for my water volume, and I think largely what it's happened is the Celcon that I use. I feed them brine shrimp, the JBJ kicked down the ATO, and it's just the foam drops completely off when I feed the fish, and I lose all that all the foam, and it's not doing what I had hoped. So I don't know if I'm going to try to get some better food. I'm limited because I live in the middle of nowhere and I don't have access to anything, so I might go down that road, but otherwise I just don't feel like I'm skimming as well as this should be. Again, it could be the GFO. There's not a whole lot of nutrients in the column, water column. I don't know, but I'm definitely not, seeing what I thought I should be from this. So the other problem I'm having is this Tom's Aqua Lifter. I got it plumbed up here into the ATO. It just does not stay primed when I use Kalkwasser, and I modified the water tube that comes down into the 5-gallon drum, and as you can see there, I got a piece of tape. There's a little bracket that's down there that holds the 1/4-inch tubing up higher, so I've moved it out of the bottom where the slurry is, and I gave it's probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches, where it was probably 3/4 of an inch. So I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. Could have been something affecting the coral. It's hard to say. So I look for something to happen there. To be honest with you, I'm not so sure I like Kalkwasser. I know it's easy, but actually it's kind of not. You still have to mix the stuff, let it sit for a few hours. I probably am going to kick myself. I should have bought the BRS dosing pumps when they were on sale, and maybe started looking at 2-part, but right now that's what I have. The other problem is I go out of town quite a bit, and I have to have my family refill this. This is all the room that I have for ATO water, and I have to have somebody else fill the water up, so it's really too much to have them add Kalkwasser into the mix and let it sit. The other thing I could do is get another one of these and pre-mix it, but these Murloc fittings are difficult to remove, and my other fear is that they wouldn't be able to make sure that it fits in there. So what I normally do is not run Kalkwasser when I'm not home, and just have them add water manually into the cap here, so that way they don't have to lug this through the house. So yeah, so that's my update. I know I've gotten pretty long here with this. A lot of things going on, a lot of things starting to come to fruition, and then a lot of things that I'm starting to have problems with. So I'm hoping the corals bounce back. One of the other things I got on the BRS sale was the foundation test kit and the phosphate pro test kit. I'm going to start looking at my levels, calcium, magnesium, and alkalinity, so that I can see exactly what I need to put back into the water and try to get my calc washer dose correct. So that's one of the other things that I'm looking at doing. I'm probably not going to have time to do it this week, which is kind of a bummer. I feel like it needs to happen pretty quick, but unfortunately I'm going out of town for a week and there's nothing I can do about it. That, and I'll be spending a lot of time on YouTube trying to find the best way to catch this guy and get him out of the tank. I really do not want to tear this rock structure apart to get him out. You know, there's my 2 cents on angels. They're hit or miss, and my swing was a miss. The other thing that I'm having a problem with, just real quick, and then I'm going to definitely sign off here, is my pH probe. I've calibrated this thing twice, and I just can't get it right. My Red Sea test kit is showing 8.2 consistently, and I rinse it with RO water and make sure it's dried out, it's put away. You know, I get a good sample. I'm positive that I mixed it correctly. Actually, the pH is very easy to do, but it's way off compared to this. So I know the Digital Aquatics Reef Keeper probes are not the high-end stuff. I think BRS has an even better probe, but I'd hoped that, you know, this would be fairly accurate, but I don't believe it is. So that's another thing that I need to get a look at and see if I can get figured out, is the pH on here. But for now, I think it's okay. It seems to stay at 8.1 to 8.2 according to Red Sea, and you know, I don't know how accurate that is. So that's gonna do it. That's what I have for you this week. Probably won't have another video next week. I'll be getting back on Sunday from a business trip. Heading to Indianapolis for a trade show, and hopefully everything does well while I'm gone. Hate to burden the family, but they seem to enjoy the tank too, which makes it a great benefit. So again, I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Hope everybody has a happy holiday season. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon.